You know, I haven't done a reaction video to a debate in a while. And I've seen so many debates, school debates, public debates, office debates. I seen professional debates, amateur debates. And one thing is for certain. When it comes to debates, if the debates end up becoming a debate where it's facts versus feelings, facts versus emotions, facts will win every time. Especially if the person you're supposed to be debating with acts more like a child than a serious professional adult. No introduction required. Y'all see the title of this video. You have a feminist trying to debate Andrew Wilson. And the shit went south for the feminists. No bullshit here. And before I go any further, shout out to Jesus Ed, the host. No, what I'm talking about. Shout out to MTR, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, as well as the Modern Day Debate and Podcast. I'll leave the links to both videos in the comment section. Y'all can go check it out. But let's do a complete breakdown of this debate, and let's point out the bullshit, the flaws, and the complete sheer irony of it all. Let's get started, shall we?
You want the parents to be miserable, not love each other, but stay for the kids. Do you think that is better for the kids?
Yeah.
It's not better for the kids.
That's not what the stats show.
Goddamn, 10 minutes in, and we already seeing red flags in this debate right here. But let's continue on.
That argument
Not what the stats show.
Okay, so
oh, this is about to be good.
Again, the whole thing about women and single moms and stuff, and I can see how it has escalated, but there's a lot of factors to it. You're talking about kids not having fathers and stuff. I can tell you the opposite stories. My own story. The guy doesn't want to be involved in her life, and I'm not going to force him to, right? So there's a lot.
Okay, we came across the first issue. Ma'am, I understand, just about everybody understand what you're trying to get across. But ma'am, you're trying to use your own personal experience to try to debate with an issue that's affecting the majority. You're taking your own personal experience and try to make it seem like it's a majority problem, in which in reality, no, it ain't. It's not. You don't know what the situation might be, let alone trying to make it seem like, oh, just because I went through it, that automatically means everybody is going through it. Nope. You're only speaking for yourself and yourself alone. Let's continue.
And I am actually part of a lot of single moms groups where a lot of these men don't want to be involved in these kids' lives. It's not that women are stopping them, but you know what? Online we hear always,
And you know what the single father groups are also saying? Or are you more concerned about what these single mother groups are saying? But let's continue.
I wanted to see my kid, and the ones that do see them, they see them once a week. If you're saying that women haven't been doing duty, actually women...
Does that also include the ones where they have no choice but to see them once a week? Or are the ones where the baby mama is keeping the baby daddy away from the child and using the courts to try to push the father as far away from the child as possible. Yeah, we didn't think so.
Doing double the duty now. Women go outside, they work, and then they come back home, and then they have the duty to those kids. But men, when they go to work, they come back, they don't do stuff at home.
You can already tell the errors in this young lady's argument, talking about her experiences within certain women's groups as if that's the gold standard or if that's what the statistics or the data shows is abhorrent work. You can't come into a debate with all of this odd, anecdotal, I'm yelling, screaming, so therefore it must be right type of art.
Straight up. Straight up. That and the fact that you're trying to, that and the fact that you can't go into a debate trying to fight facts and statistics with feelings and emotions. That shit never works. Let's continue.
Arguments, it won't work, and it damn sure ain't gonna work with Andrew Wilson. Because just as you can say that, I can say, well, I've been in men's groups, and these men are restricted from their ex, from interacting with the child, but the ex acts as if he don't want nothing to do with the kid. Man becomes increasingly demoralized, and then the man ends up going his own damn way.
Sorry, one second. So
Facts. And I believe there's a group in the manosphere that is called Fathers' Rights Activists. So yeah, there's a group for single fathers as well. But I guess she doesn't know that. I guess she doesn't know that shit. Let's continue.
they don't do all the same things. Like, we got our rights, we got whatever, but men stopped, they didn't change themselves, like, the physical labor and the whole responsibility of raising a child. You guys don't take that responsibility.
Kick it over to you. These are all excellent arguments making against feminism and egalitarianism. You're right. The law used to make it mandatory that men had to take care of their children.
Yeah.
Had to. They had to do it, or they went to jail.
Wait a minute. Let them finish. But yeah, it is true. Back then, men didn't have a choice. They had to play their role. Let's continue.
They're their wives, or they went to jail. That's what the law used to say they had to do. Now they don't have to. You don't have to take care of your wife now. You just leave. On top of that, wives, they're the ones who are doing the initiation of divorce. And it's not for abuse. The number one reason is irreconcilable differences. He doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy inside, which puts their children at a massive disadvantage.
Now, fellas, pay close attention to how she's acting. Look at her body movement. Look at her facial expression. Look how she laughs at what's being said. But she expects to be taken seriously in this debate. And which for me, that begs a question. Has she ever done a debate before, or is this her first time? I mean, imagine you're standing at the podium, your opponent in the debate is on the other side, and you've got a big audience. And get this, and what the audience sees is you moving around, you giving out goofy ass facial expressions, you're laughing at what's being said instead of paying attention to what's being said. All this that I'm saying right now, wait till later, fellas, because this is going to come full circle. Let's continue.
In comparison to the rest of society.
I heard somebody say this, I can't remember where or whatever, but it says that a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness, whereas a man will sacrifice his happiness for his family.
Right. I have a friend right now who divorced her husband and regret it to this day. Mm-hmm. Her husband remarried, moved to a new city, and she was hurt and upset about it. And I was talking to my wife about it, and I said, what is she upset about? She divorced him. She said, well, she wished she hadn't done that.
Okay, you do have to...
She's feeling sad and blue. I'm feeling She's feeling sad and blue. No bullshit on that. As I recall, there's a video floating around on YouTube about this woman who decided that she was going to abandon her responsibilities as a mother, left her husband and her children behind, moved to another state, and try to start a new life. Now, fellas, let's be upfront and real, call a ball, and a strike a strike. If a man did that shit to his wife and kids, they will call him a deadbeat. But when a woman does that to her husband and kids, that is called finding. They want to call that, she's just finding herself. That retarded fuck-ass logic is dumb. Let's continue.
Sacrifice your duties and interests on behalf of your children. You say, men don't help out with the housework. Well, yeah, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's your job, lady. He does the work. You do the housework. Oh, it's terrible. And by the way, it's a great deal for women to be stay-at-home moms. Nice. They only have to do the early maternal years. I have multiple children. And it gets way easier as they get older in that department. And most of the time now, you ship your kid off to public school by the time they're 6. Yeah. So you don't even have them for 8 hours out of the day. Don't tell me how rough it is.
Boy, cooking.
Facts.
Let's say if she is a stay-at-home and she complains about doing damn housework, well, then she's just a loser on the job. If you have a business, a worker that complains about doing janitorial work and that's what you hired them for, well, then you fire them. The difference is in that in a marriage, you can't just fire them. And if you do not have a prenup, she actually may be more incentivized to break up with you. They'd much rather take care of the child alone because all you do is just make a bigger mess as the man and then collect child support and alimony through the court system, sacrificing the family for her own selfish crack at life. I don't get how people don't get prenups.
And this is why I say whoever coined that term, happy wife, happy life, is a retarded fuck and is full of shit. Because in order to make your wife happy, you're sacrificing your own freedom, your own peace of mind, your own happiness, when both should be happy, not just one or the other. Both couples in a marriage should be happy. Why is it just your wife? And this is the reason why I look at that happy wife, happy life bullshit as straight up as I stated. Complete and utter bullshit. But let's continue.
Modern society today, and I especially don't get high-value men that have women that are stay-at-homes who do not get prenups. I don't understand, guys.
I don't understand it either.
Like I said, it's so easy. Why don't men do it? Let's do it.
They do it. They do it.
They do it well when they do it.
There's more single mothers than there's single fathers, okay?
By choice.
And that's the only thing, and that is the only thing that she's right about. Yes, it is true. There are more single mothers than single fathers. But ma'am, don't try to make that into a flex. Why are there more single mothers than single fathers? Okay then. But no, ma'am. Bringing up that comparison is not somehow a flex, nor is it a badge of honor. So why there are more single mothers than single fathers? Can this feminist explain that shit? Let's continue.
By choice.
Let me finish.
Let's give Molly each 60 seconds.
Okay, I literally know of women that have been divorced in my area in the last few years that I've lived here. And
emphasis on your area, ma'am. Not as a whole, but in your area. And that's a fucking problem. And that's a problem I usually see. You got retarded fucks wants to base everything that goes on in the world by what they see within their inner circle. They think what goes on in their inner circle, that automatically means it's happening outside of their circle. So she's taking what's going on in her inner circle and trying to paint this stupid ass picture with a broad brush. Let's continue.
Let me tell you, they're exhausted. They're exhausted from working outside. They're exhausted from taking care of the parent, for the kids, running them around here. And literally, they're tired. That's why. You say like, oh, they didn't feel warm and fuzzy anymore. So you want the parents to be miserable, not love each other, but stay for the kids. Do you think that...
Bitch, why is you screaming and yelling? Just get a point across. No. Why is you screaming, yelling, hooping, and hollering just to get a point across? But everybody wants to cry, bitch, and complain when everybody say men think logically while women think emotionally. One of the key factors of someone being emotional is when they have to scream, yell, hoop, and holler just to get a simple point across. You don't have to scream it. You don't have to scream it out in everybody's ears. You could get your point across. You could get your point across in your normal inside voice. But let's continue, especially in a debate.
It's better.
Imagine being married to her.
Yeah.
It's not better for the kids.
That's not what the
I can't fathom that.
I'll make it an argument.
Not what the stats show.
Finger wag, finger wag, finger wag, finger wag.
Miserable in a relationship.
Finger wag.
Take care of herself. How is she going to take care of the kids? You guys are never there. I have been in, like, literally.
Ma'am. Please explain what you mean by you guys. What do you mean by you guys? Oh, she thinks that, every guy that is a single father or a baby daddy, they all going through the same retarded fuck shit as her. While she wants to wag her finger in front of her camera as if she's teaching someone a lesson. If anything, she is making a complete and utter fool out of herself in this quote unquote debate. Let's continue.
You would rather have an abusive family, these people screaming, yelling and screaming in front of kids, that they think is better than
10
having
seconds
two
late.
separate...
Ma'am, I hope your kids is not in the house because you yourself is also screaming, yelling, hooping, and hollering here. I hope you have a babysitter because all that screaming and yelling you're doing is not helping your side one bit. But let's continue.
One thing I hear women say all the time, and I think this is a lack of self-awareness from women, is they will say things like, I want my man to be vulnerable. And they think what they want is for their man to unload all the shit that he's going through. But here's the reality. A guy goes through a lot to take care of his family, to protect those he loves, and to be a man. If he unloads that on his woman, he's going to destroy her peace. He's going to destroy the peace of the home. A man has to sacrifice his peace so that he can provide peace for his family. A peace that he'll never know. And that's just the role of being a man that goes out his front door every day to take care of his family. If you start treating your wife or your woman like she's your mother, you want her to wipe your nose, you want her to pick you up and tell you it's going to be all right, she's going to start acting like your mother, and it's going to destroy your relationship.
Facts.
Then we have to be stoic. We have to hold those cards close to our chest, but the reality is...
Now, who was that low intellectual punk who has a problem with stoicism? Who was that low intellectual punk who always cries, bitches, and complains when men brings up stoicism? But then again, isn't that the same one who don't even want to be in a relationship or always want to speak on things that he has little to zero experience in, but hear it from an actual man. Men has to be stoic. And no, all the hour long live streams in the world is not going to change that fact. That is an actual fact. Let's continue.
It's really unhealthy for us as men to do that. That's why it's so important that you have a tribe around you, that you have like-minded brothers with you that are going to be in the boat pulling the oars with you, that are going to be guys you can trade war stories with, guys that can tell you when you're being a bitch or telling you, hey, man, we got your back. We're there for you.
Well, then you have to...
And that's an actual fact right there, too. Oh, that's right. You can't tell them nothing because they think they know everything. But back to the debate.
Then Lucy, you got some explaining to do, because before we had no-fault divorce, most people stayed married. And if women were truly these... Hey, can you stop talking, lady?
Would you stop talking and let him speak? And this is exactly what I mean, fellas. In a debate, your emotions will destroy your side of the argument completely. She got so emotional, so triggered that she had to try to jump in and try to overtalk. They may not see it or think about it, but guess what? Everybody catches on to the emotions, to any emotional outburst in a debate, which is not a good look. Let's continue.
60 seconds.
So if it is the case, lady, that women were in these miserable marriages and they just couldn't leave, and that was actually worse for the kids, how come those kids were so much better adjusted with way less mental illness and had way better prospects for their future than our children do right now in single mother households? Can you explain?
And once again, the feminist is acting like a little girl. And once again, the goofy facial expressions, the constant rocking of her chair, her body language. She's not being serious at all. But always arguing with feelings and emotions and using what goes on in her circle, believing that what goes on in my circle is also happening outside my circle, which is completely and utterly false. You're a minority, she's a minority that thinks she's speaking for the majority. But let's continue.
And why is it that in single mother households, the children have every single multiple disadvantage you could think of, including mental illness, homelessness, everything else, when in comparison we go back to before there was no-fault divorce, women stayed married. That generation of children, far better adjusted, way less mental illness, way less homelessness, way better nest eggs. They have better advantages in every aspect. So if it is the case that women were just miserable, right, and they shouldn't have stayed up just out of duty, because that would affect the kids. It seems to have affected them positively, didn't it?
Single mother households have always been a net negative to society. What was actually interesting about that is that single father households, from a statistics of life results of the children perspective, fare way better than single mother households.
So the thing is, it's like
hard facts. And I can say that, and yes, I can say that. I can say that after all. I myself is a single father that takes care of my boys, takes care of my children. Make sure they have everything they need. I don't have to deal with that bullshit. And thank God I don't have to. And I ain't looking down on the ones who are. But that's just me. Let's continue.
These two-parent households, we see this over and over and over again. The outcomes for those children, way better. They did better academically. They did better physically. They did better in almost every aspect of life in comparison to modern children who are raised in single mother households. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All data points to this. All of it.
Okay, so you were saying that those kids back in the days were better physically. Okay, yeah, I agree with you because there was no internet.
And this is how you know she wasn't paying attention. And remember why I said she was so busy too busy trying to acting like a child in this debate. She don't pay much attention, and now she has to clarify what's being said when she should know what's being said. But it doesn't stop there, fellas. Let's continue.
There was no social media. Kids went outside. They played. They socialized. It was a different time, right? That's what you keep bringing it. No, it was a different time. There was not as many people in the world. It wasn't so multicultural, right? Was it? It was a different world. Where
these are great arguments against feminism.
Going to be different. Hang on. The outcomes are going to be different, right? Nobody was glued to their TV all day long, so obviously they were better physically fit, right? They went and played more sports, so you could see better sportsmen coming out of there. Nowadays, you're seeing more gamers. It's just different. You're still seeing that talent, but it's different. You don't. No, because there wasn't that many people.
And gamers make a whole lot of money. Some even billions. Why is he trying to make, you got gamers as a bad thing? Probably, I bet those gamers probably has more money than her ass. Let's continue.
People at that time either. Like, I just don't understand how you keep comparing that time to now time, because the situations were different. You know, everything wasn't.
These are great arguments against multiculturalism.
It wasn't so expensive. You know, both parents didn't have to go work outside, right?
Yeah.
You could live in a home and one car in a decent. The times have changed now. You cannot just say, "Oh, it's because single mom."
This is great.
And again, the single moms. Where are the fathers? Why are they?
Like this is fantastic. You're right. It's almost like putting women in the workforce, right? Because rich industrialists wanted them to be in the workforce, and they did, and it was all funded by Rockefeller, for instance, who wanted them in the workforce in the worst way, okay? Doubled the now amount of labor, industrial labor, which was available, thus decreasing and suppressing wages necessarily. It was a terrible idea. You're right. They could afford one income because society was set up for that. Women demanded the opposite, and the outcome of that was really bad. Not only that, but let's take a look at your other arguments here, which are absurd arguments. You would have a good leg to stand on if you said, well, wait a second, it's a different time then, and they didn't have A, B, C, and D. Well, okay, but now we see in two-parent households right this second in modernity, the outcomes for children are still way better, even if they're in houses where the mom and daddy don't really like each other that
much. Judging by her facial expressions, she doesn't want to hear it. But it's true, ma'am. Whether you like it or not. Let's continue.
Much the outcomes for the kids are still better. Why? Because they govern that stuff. They govern the smartphone use. They make them have more playtime. They make demands that they watch less TV. Single mothers aren't making those types of demands. They don't even have time to make those types of demands. Clearly, it's better to have a two-parent household and keep those intact. Feminism has been doing everything it can to destroy that and women's liberation. And I just demonstrated it to you, and you demonstrated it yourself by giving the examples of what society used to be way better.
Fair here.
He's talking right now. Yo, we gotta play the eggs frying over the open stove sound effect on this one right here. He's absolutely right. Destroyed the argument. She anchored the majority of her talking points in this thought of that, we're just in a different time right now, right? So there are other things that are within the success of the result.
That's because you're in a different time doesn't mean good old morals and values should not fade out. And for me, that's no excuse. Let's continue.
of children today because it's just a different time period. That's okay. But the current data on single parent household versus family versus two parent households is conclusive. They've been studying this for decades now. Even when the parents don't like each other, the impact of two-parent household and the structure that is created within create better outcomes, which is the antithesis of the.
But JD, you had kids that came from single-parent households that went on to be successful. No one's denying that. And rather, if that's the case, then I look at them as the exception, not the rule. Okay, he came from a single parent household, he went to school, he went to college, tried out for sports, he's now a professional athlete. That is, congratulations, you just point out the exception, not the rule. So, and just because his was successful, that means every child that came from a single parent household will have that same success? I doubt it. And vice versa. And yeah, you got clowns on here who came from single parent households trying to talk down on the ones that had both their parents as if, I came from a single parent household and I'm achieving greatness than everybody. That is fucking false. I say the vast minority is pulling that off, not the whole majority. And vice versa. Let's continue.
This new modern ideology around breaking up families and homes because one parent or both parents are unhappy.
Malik, go ahead.
I think women need to have the right to have a divorce. If they're not happy in a marriage, they should have a right to divorce. The fact that you keep saying it and keep bringing it up, I would agree with you.
Then they shouldn't complain when the next man doesn't want to take their raw deal. Then if they want a divorce, let them get their divorce. But they should not be out here demanding for men to settle. Especially what is going on in the here and now. And yes, you got women who divorces their husbands, no, not because their husbands cheated or committed adultery, not because their husbands was abusive to them or the children. No. They just divorcing because they decided they were finished with the marriage. Or the grass was greener. And yes, those type of things fall under single mother by choice. And as I stated before, single mothers by choice are the least respected. The least. Because she deliberately broken up her family. Some will even go as far as to do that and then try to portray themselves as, my baby daddy was a deadbeat. He was abusive, this type of shit. And this is the reason why they are the least respected single mothers out of all the others. But let's continue.
Yes, I agree with you that a child needs both parents. And again, you keep saying single mothers. I can list 100 names right now of single mothers whose men are not.
Yes, you listed 100 women within your circle. How about listing 100 women outside your circle, ma'am? Let's continue.
Involved. They don't want to see the kids. So you keep blaming the women, where we are the ones trying. First of all, we didn't go and get an abortion, because otherwise then we would be baby killers. So now we chose to keep the kids, right? So that's also our responsibility. Now we're single mothers and nobody wants us anymore. And the men go and cry on the internet, oh, we are restricting access to their kids. No, these men choose. I have even seen men that will quit working. So they...
And where is the stats to your claims, ma'am? Or is this you? Or is this your emotions talking again? Is this your feelings talking again? You're making all these claims, but you're not citing sources here. Oh, all these men chooses for the single mother to be alone. That is false, and she knows it. Let's continue.
They don't have to pay child support. Yes, maybe single mothers do fall behind, but they have a lot on their plate. But I will tell you something else. I know you're bringing these stats and stuff, but what I see around me is totally different. I have seen single mothers.
So now what she's trying to do is, as I stated, now she's trying to fight the facts with feelings. Oh, she's trying to fight the facts with what goes on in her inner circle. In the end, no matter how hard she tried, facts are facts. Your feelings will not be facts. Your emotions will not be facts. Who's in your inner circle is not going to beat the facts. No matter how hard you try. Let's continue.
Once they get out of the relationship, they're better. They're focusing on themselves. They can focus better on their kids now. Their life is more organized. They're doing far more better when they were together in an unhappy relationship. Thank you.
Yeah, before Andrew cooks, what's more believable? The facts, the data, the statistics that go beyond her 100 women examples in their circle jerk of single motherhood. Lady, just because these are the people that you keep or the friends that you have, it doesn't mean that it's true for most. You're likening 100 women that you know to extrapolate that out to have your warped worldview of men and women and the dynamic. We got to get you outside the house a little bit more.
I swear. Especially if she got to that guy in her head thinking that, oh, these single mothers have a better lifestyle than they were in a 2-parent household. How fucking retarded is this feminist? Let's continue.
Hilarious, because we can look at multiple studies which have meta-analysis done on them, right? And so we can prove that the court system has been extraordinarily biased against men towards women when it comes to custody here in the United States.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, ma'am. No matter how much you want to shake your head no, it is facts. Let's continue.
We have all the support in the world to prove it. We also know that women are initiating the divorces, not men, due to the unhappiness level. Right? They're the initiators of these divorces, not the men. So, yeah, the men are like, oh, okay, so you're going to take my kid, hit me out of the blue with a divorce, right? And I'm supposed to pay child support? Like, screw that. It's a raw deal. So, yeah, men have legitimate concerns and gripes with this, right? When they get lambasted.
Now, what have I been saying about her sitting there acting like a little girl? In which I'm now starting to believe that she is a little girl trapped in a grown woman's body. Those goofy facial expressions ain't helping her cause one bit. Let's continue.
With things like this, men are put in that position. The court systems have been traditionally biased against them. At least my entire adult life they have, and in my father's adult life they were. The second we went into no fault and the custody agreements were automatically defaulting to women. We can see this time and time again. Only through men's rights advocacy has this gotten better at all. And right now, what we can do is we can look at the data of single mother versus single father households, and the single father households outperform them by every single metric. Do you know why that is? It's because abuse in the home happens to children mostly because of step parents, where women are bringing strange men around the kids, and that's when the kids get diddled and they get beat up and they get everything else.
And she thinks, and she's sitting there and she's sitting there thinking that shit is funny as hell. What's so funny about these stepfathers abusing their stepkids? What does she find so amusing about that?
That's on women. That's on the women. You understand?
This whole argument that, it's because the single mothers are bringing men, because otherwise kids were never getting molested in the houses. Let's not even talk about the church. In Pakistan, most...
And why should we talk about the church for? What does the church have anything to do with what goes on in your house, ma'am? And let me go ahead and call this shit out too. Look how you reacted. Look how you reacted at that point. And apparently what Andrew Wilson said triggered you so much, irked you so much, that you replied that once again, here you go again, responding in your feelings and emotions while trying to divert the issue, trying to deflect the issue. Oh, no. Let's not talk about stepfathers abusing their stepchildren in the house. No. Let's talk about the abuse that's happening in the church. And this is how you know she's losing the debate, right? This is also another reason why she's losing the debate right here. Trying to divert from the issue. Because she does not want to talk about what goes on in the house. It says she wants to talk about what goes on in the church. She's losing this debate hard. Let's continue.
Let's talk about it.
Hang on. In the double family homes, you know who is getting molested in Pakistan? They're wearing burqas, they're covering everything. The kids are getting molested at their house, in their house.
Bullshit. And everybody knows it. So the children are being abused in a 2-parent household. And neither parents knows about this. Moreover, neither parents trust a stranger enough to be around their kids. Are you smoking crack, woman? Let's continue.
House. Okay, some other step-parent didn't have to come in. Yeah, I know, it happens, and women should be careful. But the way you paint here that every single mother is here going on, I've had one guy beat my daughter because...
And once again, she didn't pay attention. Because Andrew Wilson didn't say every single mother. He didn't say that. And once again, what's being said flew right over her head. Maybe she paid more attention instead of acting like a little childish ass girl in a debate. She wouldn't be fucking up in this debate. She wouldn't be sitting there putting words in other people's mouths in this debate. But need I go further? Let's continue.
I know what it takes to be in that situation, right? Ever. And that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Your child.
Did you say you had a guy beat your daughter?
What?
No, I said I've only have had one man meet my daughter. But you sit here, paint all single mothers that are bringing their...
Ma'am, calm down. There's no need for you to be screaming, hooping, and hollering just to get a point across. And once again, this is how you could tell when someone is thinking logically in the debate from someone who is thinking emotionally. Let's continue.
No, he's not.
Parents in, and again, how is that woman's fault? Because she's trusting that man, and of course, you men are like this. You will like be. I can't.
And once again, emphasis on you men are like this. Excuse me? Excuse me? Because now you're starting to sound like a man hate. She's now starting to sound like a man hater. Oh, you men are like this. No, you don't speak for all of us. So have several seats. Shut the fuck up about all men and continue losing this debate. As for, it's not our fault. Then whose fault is it? Because last time I checked, y'all women are the ones who picked those men. Let me ask all these wild questions. Oh, yeah, we get it. Could it be is your baby daddy's fault that you chose that abusive man? Is it or maybe it's your children's fault that you chose that man who was abusive? Oh, I get it. We all get it. It's your parents' fault that you chose that abusive man to be a stepfather. Or maybe it's your friend's fault for you choosing that abusive man to be a stepfather. It's everybody's fault but yourself for choosing that abusive man to be a stepfather. Does she hear herself talk? Let's continue.
Even believe it, like you will come into a relationship with a woman and then try to go and do that to their kid.
She hates men.
Because men are so evil, right? But again, go back to your point, saying that if it is in a double household, and so I agree to you to a certain extent. But at the same time, I don't agree with, I don't even know what point I was making. I just totally lost it up there. Sorry.
So wait a second, ma'am. You mean to tell us all that you were so strung out on trying to give out your emotional rant that you completely forgot the point you was trying to make? You were so concerned of trying to get your emotional rant out that you completely blanked on trying to get your point across. I swear to God, I'm now starting to believe everybody that's in the comment section. This debate was over before it even began. Let's continue.
Well, let me respond very quickly to all these.
You were saying, can you repeat that?
Yeah, to all the. Hang on, let me respond quickly to all these claims. We'll start with molestation in church. You're right, it does happen, but you know where it significantly happens way more? Public schools, which is where you're sending your kids. Way more. Yeah. It's 100 times more, in fact, 100 times more in public schools. The public institutions are way worse than the churches. So the thing is like that point is moot. You're not advocating we get rid of public schools because of that. So not only that, but let's not only that, let's push in even further when it comes.
Come on, ma'am, get your feelings out of it.
To step parents. Am I saying all step parents are bad? No, I'm a step parent myself. Okay, am I saying that that's bad? No, I'm not saying it's evil. What I'm saying is that
he never said that. And it goes back, and now we gotta go back to the question again. What does the church or any other place got to do with what happens in the home? And no, ma'am, you could talk about people bringing random strangers in. That does not negate the fact that you got stepfathers out there that will be abusive to their stepchildren. And that's an actual fact, no matter how much or how hard you try to deflect from that. But let's get back to it.
If you really have concern for your children, you'll do everything you can first to make your relationship work out on behalf of your child, knowing that the stats and rates of bringing strange people around are going to be detrimental to your child. That's terrible. And this happens over and over again. Women are choosing to be single moms. The father does not want to break it up. The father does not want to break the family up. They choose to be single moms by initiating these divorce procedures against the husband's will, and they don't have to show any cause. They're choosing it. You can't choose it, then complain about it.
The concept of women choosing to be single mothers or to break up happy homes, I don't think it's talked about enough, even though we talk about a lot on this channel, especially within our community, because the incentivizations is...
Oh, I have numerous times. But then they be wondering why they're the least respected. Why nobody gives a shit about them. Because they chose that lifestyle. No. To all you crybabies out there. They wasn't put in that lifestyle due to unfortunate circumstances. They chose that lifestyle. And now they expect for everybody to feel bad for them. Shit. But let's continue.
There. To break up is to then receive government assistance and or funding. To break up is to receive child support. And the backdrop of that is proclaiming strength through independence. But that's not the whole story. The whole story is the results of the split, the negative implications of the split, the lowered results from not having a father present. Yes, there's men out there that ain't shit and will leave, but I think it's far more sinister to not talk about the accountability, the behavior of the other sides, not hold them accountable to not only create, but keep, by any means necessary, a strong family unit. That's 70%.
And that's a fact. And I'm going to stop this debate right here. I mean, let's just be upfront and real. This debate was over before it even began. And as I said before, this debate was more about facts versus feelings and emotions, in which facts wins every time. And I advise to this feminist here, maybe she needs to conduct herself more properly before going to another debate and embarrassing herself in the process. And I've seen enough debates to easily tell that she was coming into this debate using the people that's within her circle, thinking that she could speak for the vast majority as a whole. It never works. She's on here acting like a straight up child more than a serious debater. The body movement, her posture, her facial expressions, it says it all. But she expects for everybody to take her seriously. But she doesn't see her own error. She has to scream, hoop, and holler to get her point across, and she gets so easily triggered over the opposition and what they're saying. And she actually thought that she was making an argument, bringing up claims that she has no stats, no statistics, nothing to back up, and then completely forget the point where she's trying to make. This debate was over before it even began. Man, Andrew Wilson got this one in the bag. I don't care what these crybabies had to say, but nevertheless, once again, shout out to Jesus Ed in Modern Day Debate and Podcast. If y'all want to watch their videos in its entirety, I'll leave the link to both videos in the comment section. Go check them out. Tell them JD Miles sent you. But that's all I got for tonight. I'm done and I'm out this bitch. Later.